Welcome back, 93.7 The Ticket. Here today, I have such a special guest for you guys. You guys will not believe who is to my left. I have BEKKA ALLICK, the Nebraska superstar volleyball player who just recently was a part of the world record-breaking team, currently on a 6-0 streak. BEKKA, how you feeling about being on the show tonight?
I'm excited. I love doing fun stuff with you, so this will be really cool.
This is going to be great. For all those who don't know out there, me and BEKKA are actually pro Fortnite players on the side. You know, when I'm not doing track and she's not doing her volleyball thing, we're actually on the sticks. Me, her, and actually her brother, who plays basketball here. We all run up Fortnite. So let's go ahead and kick this thing off. BEKKA, first things first, this is a question I love to start out all podcasts with. Why Nebraska? You can take it.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, okay. Honest, I chose Nebraska just for the appreciation they have for female athletes. You know, you see not a lot of people fill in the stands of women's basketball and other women's sports, basketball being my first passion. And I chose volleyball because I wanted to be remembered. I wanted my work to be accounted for something. And I could just not get over how insane the Husker Nation fan base is. And they proved it, that they go above and beyond like they do. And Wednesday, when we had the Memorial game, it just showcased just how dedicated and loving and loyal our fan base is, because they want to be a part of it. I have people hitting me up saying, "Man, I wish we had it's like 2005 or 6." Just, you know, everyone wanted to be a part of it. So yeah, Husker Nation was honestly what drew me to the university.
That's amazing. I mean, what you just said before, wanted to be remembered. What better way to do that by setting the single world record of attendance for a women's event inside of Memorial Stadium? I got to say, I was on the sidelines just cheering you guys on, and I was so happy for you guys. Watching you guys walk out of that tunnel, I had goosebumps. Seeing the Jets flying over the stadium, I mean, the atmosphere was actually just insane that night. So, leading into my next point, I would like to give some of our fans, our viewers, some inside access. So, go ahead and describe to me, what did it feel like playing the game, and then transition us into after the game, the concert, and the experience of that?
Oh, man. So I guess leading into the game, just a mixture of anxiety and excitement. Like, I'm about to go play the biggest game in my entire life. And, oh, my goodness, it's really hard to put into words. I've been asked this question a lot, and every time I just feel like what I have to say doesn't do it justice. So leading up to the actual event, just my stomach is doing backflips, my heart's racing. You're constantly looking in the mirror, hoping you look all right, just finding an excuse to make you feel like you have a grip on what's actually about to happen. And then actually running out in front of everyone, I was just filled with gratitude, just tons and tons of gratitude, just feeling beyond blessed that I get to do this. I'm like constantly asking myself, like, why me? You know, we've had a ton of talented women come to this program, and you wonder why they didn't get that for their senior year. And the fact that I'm only a sophomore and I've experienced so much here already, it was just, again, I was feeling gratitude and just, I don't know, you see the film, I'm just smiling like a kid on Christmas. And then when we finished the actual match, they just were playing a lot of our favorite songs, and fireworks and drones were putting on this amazing performance, which everyone saw. But actually being on there, you just feel like one of the most special people in the whole world. Like, having that many eyes on you and everyone being like, "Oh, it's amazing what you've done." It's like, it really wasn't me. Like, you guys are the reason why it's such a big deal. So you're like, oh my gosh, like, what is going on? What is going on? That was, just overwhelmed and beyond blessed. It was so much fun.
Man, insane. And then the concert after, how did you feel about that?
Oh my gosh, the concert.
It was so crazy that you forgot about the concert. Literally.
Yeah, no, I literally forgot about the concert. Scotty McCreery, dude, he's a great performer. So he was doing a bunch of 90s throwbacks. Apparently he draws a lot of his information from George Strait, one of his songs actually being Damn Straight. So, yeah, he crushed it. I mean, there's a bunch of songs. I like to line dance when I have the energy and time to.
Fun fact right here, line dancer.
Yes, I will go out to Playmore on Sunday nights, which is country night. And so when I do it, mostly in the spring season, so I'll go out there, and I just was dancing my booty off. It was so much fun. My brother's girlfriend was in town, and she's a big country fan as well. So we made it over to my teammates, and we were just swinging each other around, jumping up and down. And it was just a great time, and he's a great performer. And his songs alone that he's written were amazing. Yeah, it was just a great show. And he was wearing a Husker volleyball shirt, so that was really cool.
Husker Nation, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Very cool.
Insane. Yeah, going back to what you said, I mean, that's such a magical night. I mean, not even just for the state of Nebraska, for the whole entire sports world. I mean, you
Yeah.
had Stephen A. Smith talking about it. You got people all the way from across the country mentioning Nebraska volleyball. How many girls is on the team? Is it
14.
14 girls? And you asked the question, why you? Why do you feel that you deserve this? I'm still young. I'm still a sophomore. You've already experienced what it's been like to be a national championship contending team. You've had 2 very successful seasons so far here. And I honestly think that there's no one more deserving than you. I mean, knowing the type of character that you are, knowing the type of person, I mean, you're not even just taking volleyball aside, but even just having classes with you and how me and you first met. I mean,
Yeah.
you were just a super just grateful person to be here, just be around, and you just have great energy too.
Thanks, man.
It's so funny talking to you too because, other people, like I remember the other day I watched a video of you and a little girl and she was like crying to meet you. You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right? And she came up to you guys, took
Nevaeh,
this
her
great
name's
picture.
Nevaeh.
Nevaeh, shout out Nevaeh if you're watching this. And it was just so cool to see like Becca's on like my idol. And then when I think of Becca, I think about Becca like from my econ class last year. We're just struggling to
Oh
get
my
through
God.
and we're just going through the grind. And then
Yeah.
you have this almost like other life where, Nebraska Nation, like the whole entire world is behind you, just supporting what you do. And, there's just so much going on, which is honestly a great lead into my next point. What do you feel is your biggest kind of day-to-day struggle? Like when you wake up in the morning, you have the good and the bad, and you kind of have your worries. What do you think is just one block you feel that you have, just as a student athlete and a person with everything going on at the moment?
Man, I'd say just my current one is my schedule, just time management. Every year, my time management skills get stressed. So freshman year, the actual workload was pretty nice, and then even just by the next semester, it got amped up. And then this year, just with obviously the classes progressing and the competition raising in the gym, we have a huge class. There are 5 girls, and they're all studs. So just the overall competition in the gym has gone up, hence more stress on my body and mind. Stress that I want, but it's still stress. So, and also just making time for my relationship with God. I'm really big in my faith, and you got to make time for Him because He's the reason why I wake up in the morning, got air in my lungs, and making time for Him, whether it's before bed, during the day, just trying to keep Him on my mind. It's hard because you got all of these things where they're all wanting your attention. So just finding time for what's important has honestly been the hardest thing for me lately.
I agree. Yeah. You and like so many other different athletes, we all struggle with time management. It's very difficult, but for you, it's definitely multiplied by a whole lot more. I mean, you guys are traveling state to state, and you have a lot more eyes on you than any other sport. I feel like the only sport that could really compare to where you is possibly football and basketball. But even for you guys too, I mean, you guys are within the top 5 every single year within the nation of volleyball. You're always talked about. You guys have a legendary status to live up to when it comes to Coach Cook and everything that he's accomplished. I mean, as long as you're taking it day by day, and what you said before too, keeping your faith, I feel like that's super important. That's also something that I've recently got into too. Growing up, really wasn't that religious, but recently since I've got to college, all these stresses, like you said before, the scheduling, it was just so much, and I feel like I had so much going on that I just needed to find something to keep the peace. So just praying and giving it all to God and just being grateful for, like you said before, the air in your lungs. It's huge. It's everything. So transitioning into our next point, can you go ahead and talk to us about the culture of actually Nebraska volleyball? How is with the practice? How's the camaraderie between you and your teammates, your coaches, just everybody? How is it here in Nebraska?
Oh my goodness. The culture, everything about the relationships, it is so special and it's unique every year. I figured that the culture we had last year in my relationships would somehow translate into this year, but it's completely different. And it's been adjusting, but it's so beautiful to what it is now. Oh my goodness, I can honestly say they are all my best friends, and I can lean on them, even if it's just in practice for a small moment, or to hit them up to go, say, play Fortnite. I'm just, again, beyond blessed to have such an amazing group of girls, and 14 of them. That's really rare to come by.
Right.
And so we're super special, and we push each other. Iron sharpens iron. So a fellow middle, Andy Jackson, she's my accountability partner. So an accountability partner is someone that whatever you struggle with, so say I tend to kind of get self-centered when I'm making errors, she's the kind of person that's got to pull me out of that. And I signed up for her to be that person, which means that I should be prepared that if I get into that place, Andy's going to be there to pull me out. And so it's, that's hard because especially when you have someone where you're the same position, you're competing against each other for that spot. And so having that kind of trust where it's like she's doing this to help me and it's not to belittle me or any way or, it gets to that, like, oh, is she trying to, like, mess? No, like, she's there because she loves me, and we support each other, and it's iron sharpens iron. So our culture is very special. We push each other. We are a very, very competitive bunch. I think it's a great group.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's honestly so amazing, especially at the level that you guys play at, being able to have that. And on top of that as well, do you guys have any seniors on the team?
No.
There's no seniors on the team. You guys are so young and have so much potential. And I think that's just amazing how, you're going into your sophomore year kind of, because you're half, right? Half sophomore. Right. So going into your half sophomore year and then also having like a half freshman, being that accountability partner, being on that field with you. And like you said before, it's competition because you guys both play the same position, but it's also tough love. You guys are both killing it out there. You both, if you get into a rut, you're able to switch off, use each other for energy. I mean, that's amazing. So, Bekka, go ahead and talk to us about what do you like to do just kind of outside of Nebraska volleyball. Yeah. So you did say, we did tell the fans that we do Fortnite. You like to line dance on the side. Yeah. But, when you got to get away out of that zone, just away from everything, what is your first go-to?
Oh, man. This one's hard because there's not a lot to pick from. Because, honest, one of my favorite hobbies is to redo furniture. Really? So refurnishing couches, shelves, building them. I recently did one in my apartment, and it's so rewarding, but it does take a lot of time. So with being a student athlete, you don't really have that. Most of it goes to school and athletics and like that little in-between time for your social life. So that kind of hobby doesn't really happen during season. So yeah, like we talked about, Fortnite, Minecraft, I've been leaning a lot into gaming recently. Also been picking up a book. So I like to read sometimes, just get my mind off of a screen, but also like keep it, active. And yeah, I don't really have a lot of hobbies. I guess you could count one nowadays is like scrolling on Instagram. Oh man, it's more of an addiction than a hobby, if I'm being honest.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we all have something, and scrolling on Instagram is definitely a hobby. I've caught myself lots of times doing that. I love posting on Instagram. This is my line of work for social media, so no shame there. Yeah. Like you said before, gaming. I love gaming. I think it's so cool. How it actually happened for anybody out there wondering. I saw her on Snapchat one day, and it was a video of her, like, I think she had her laptop in one place, and then it was Fortnite in the other. Yes. And I'm like, bro, I do the exact same thing. We have to run it up. And then that's like, she's like, hey, let's play with my brother. So we ended up playing with her brother too. Yeah. So now it's our thing to go in, get a few victory royales together on no build. We're still learning. Yes, no build mode because, we're good, but we're not that good now. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's great. It sounds like you have a really good balance too. You did say that, you didn't think it was the most interesting, but that is interesting. Basically, with everything else you have going on, being able to have time for that book, for that game, just chilling, even the hobby you said before, refurnishing furniture. Yeah. I think that's great. I think that's amazing that you're able to, have time for those types of things. Bekka, closing thoughts for this podcast. Can you go ahead and give a message just for all of your fans out there and all of your supporters, just what can they do to just enhance what's already been done this legendary season? It seems as though the bar has been set so high after that Memorial game, but then again, it's still so early within the season. So now you guys have all the eyes on you. So what can Husker Nation do to just support you, support your teammates, and just better the program overall just as a unit?
Oh, man. Honest, I can't speak to this one confidently. Just support for, who we are outside of our sport. Because, the expectation goes up, and I've seen the way Husker Nation, not all of them, but I should say specific individuals treat some of the boys on the Husker football team, and after them losing to Minnesota, just the hate some of them received was just ridiculous. Like, at the end of the day, they're just a bunch of guys that are putting their heart and soul to the sport, and you have no idea what they're balancing outside of it. So just supporting them and knowing that they did give their all, because as mistakes happen. It's a game. It's all about who's going to make the least amount of errors and who's going to do the right thing. So I guess for the volleyball team, is like, we just ask for your support. The expectations are high, but nobody's perfect, and sometimes we're going to win ugly. So seeing those comments about, oh, I didn't like how so-and-so did this, like, we don't care, and we don't need that, because say I do decide to go look at the comments one day and all there is nothing but these people, I'm like, I'll wait and hear that feedback from my coach. Because unless you're in the gym saying those kinds of things, it's not gonna go anywhere. It's just gonna be something that I see and I can't help but think about. And so I guess just genuine support. And as my mom always says, just be nice or be quiet. So, yeah.
Preach to mom. Be nice or be quiet. I think a lot of people out there forget that we're 19, 18, 19,
Yeah,
20,
I'm 19
20.
years old.
She's 19, I'm 20. So we were just freshmen in high school.
Yeah.
Now we're freshmen, sophomores, and juniors in college. I think a lot of people forget that we're still kids. We don't
Yeah.
even know what we're doing. We are at this university trying our absolute best
Yeah.
and getting bashed on Twitter. I mean, some people have the willpower to not look. But a lot of people out there, you can't help yourself
It's
sometimes.
so
You have to.
hard.
It's hard not to look, and it's hard not to give in because hate, unfortunately, sometimes can be more powerful than love. Because if you let it get to you, it's really going to affect you. And I think that's really powerful. What you just said as well. Just even for the Nebraska football team and everything that's going on, just being supportive and being, just remembering that we're still kids, we're still young, and we're still trying. And like you said before, just giving all the support and just supporting who you are personally outside because you're more than just an athlete. And I think that's great.
More than an athlete, yeah.
And Bekka, you have absolutely rocked this podcast.
Thanks,
Thank you
man.
so much. If you have one last closing remark for anybody out there listening, what would you like to say?
Well, as a Christian, I'm always going to say follow God, Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Dedicated my life to trying to be like him. Am I perfect? No. But man, does he bring me peace through my trials, tribulations, relationships. I mean, he brought Niko into my life, and Niko is such a light. He is such a blessing in just about anybody he encounters. So, yeah, that's my other thing. And never be afraid to be yourself, because I think everyone's trying to conform to be – they're too scared to offend others. But in this world, there's too much going on to be focused on how other people are feeling. Like, at the end of the day, you just got to be yourself. So, yeah.
There's not much to be said much after that. I hope you enjoyed watching. Love all of you. Goodbye.